Good morning, guys. Today is Mametz Wood. You should be more familiar with the process of listening to the MP3, reading, making notes on a piece of paper, much like I have done. This is mine for Mametz Wood. It's supposed to be a skull, but I'm an English teacher, not an art teacher. You will find this in our Keep Up folder. That's just to show you what I've done because last time I did it with you. So you are going to need your copy of the poem, a green pen, a red pen, and yourselves, okay? At certain times during this, I will tell you to pause and have a go and then replay, okay? That means you've got to do some work, then you check back to see with me to see if it's right, to see if we agree, and to see what happens. Okay. So you should by now know that this is a poem by Owen Shears. It's based on Mametz Wood, which was the scene of fierce fighting during the Battle of the Somme. It was one of the bloodiest battles of World War I. This is where the Welsh division were ordered to take Mametz Wood, which was a large area of trees on the battlefield. This battle ended up lasting 5 days. It was face-to-face fighting, lots of casualty, lots of dead. Shears, the poet, believed that their sacrifice, their bravery were never really acknowledged. And this poem is a way of him acknowledging their sacrifice, praising their bravery. So it's interesting to note that Shears is a Welsh poet himself. He was a writer and university professor, and this poem was inspired by a day where farmers dug up the remains of soldiers from the Welsh battalion. Okay, now we've got a little bit of background, our context. We're going to do our red and green annotation. So I want you to pause this video and go through it and see what you think's positive and what you think's negative. For years afterwards, the farmers found them. For me, that suggests that it was such a bloody battle, so dangerous and so... Sorry, I can't get my thoughts in gear. Doesn't help that my cat is sat there staring at me. I might have to remove him, bear with me. So, for years afterwards, the farmers found them. This is the opening line of the poem, and it's farmers that find them, everyday people working the land. This could signify that the bones of the soldiers were just left where they fell, that they didn't have the proper burial rites, they didn't have a funeral, they were forgotten. On this day when they were discovered, this was reported in a newspaper, 20 soldiers were discovered, okay? So the fact that for years afterwards farmers are still finding them shows the wide scale effect of this battle and how deadly it was. The wasted young. Wasted, the adjective implies that they were young soldiers. They'd lost their lives too early. Turning up under their plough blades as they tended the land back to itself. This is showing the farmers are trying to care for the wounded earth that was damaged by war. The verb tended shows that they are being careful, that they care about the land, as if it's being personified. What I will do is write notes about what I've said afterwards and then put the copy up in our Keep Up folder. The blown and broken bird's egg of a skull. For me, what's interesting to note is the alliteration here. blown, broken bird's egg. The B sound is quite harsh, which can replicate the violence of the battle. The image here of a broken bird's egg is likening the soldiers to a bird egg, which is delicate and fragile and represents new life and hope. The fact that it's been blown and broken shows they've been treated savagely, that they've been violently attacked. They were told to walk, not run. This is where it has a bit of a sinister feel for me. The walk, not run is a command they've been given. It creates a cynical tone within the poem. The poet clearly felt the orders sent to the soldiers were wrong because they were sending the soldiers to their deaths. If you're facing machine guns and you are walking, what do you think is going to happen? Exactly, they're going to be slaughtered. But the fact that they obeyed these orders shows that they were honourable and brave. Nesting machine guns. Here, for me, it's the image that contrasts with the broken bird's egg, the idea of fragile life, nesting machine guns. That, again, implies that the machine guns are giant birds of prey, and they are waiting for the soldiers to come there and to kill them. Nesting also implies they've been there for a while, they have power and security, whereas the soldiers walking towards them do not. And even now the earth stands sentinel. The personification of the earth here, linked to the noun sentinel, suggests that the earth, the physical earth, is trying to protect these soldiers and their skeletons. It's preserving them. And it's also as if standing sentinel, it's a living presence that can't rest because of the horrors it has seen. This links to like a wound working a foreign body to the surface of the skin. So the wound would be the battle where it injured the earth. The foreign body would be the soldiers. Foreign, A, because they are on a foreign land fighting. B, because human remains in the earth is a foreign body to the earth. By personifying the ground, the earth, you get a sense of its sadness, its desire to heal, and by healing it needs to show what's been hidden, what's been forgotten, like a splinter. Sorry about this. 20 men buried in one long grave. For me, you've got the number 20 in 1. That's showing that they were just left where they fell. So they weren't remembered, they weren't given proper burial rites. Again, a broken mosaic of bone. Once more, we've got the alliterative sound of broken and bone, which is a harsh sound. For me, despite the fact that it's talking about lots of bones being in pieces, it is a beautiful image. The noun mosaic implies a sense of beauty amidst the carnage, the horror. So even in this awful event, there is some form of beauty. Their skeletons paused mid-dance macabre. That means the dance of death. So I'm going to underline this with both red and green because it is ambiguous. Ambiguous means there's no set or obvious meaning, it's our interpretation. So dance macabre, the dance of death, which is a French phrase, indicates a dance with death. It's dangerous, life-threatening, but it's also if you dance, you have a sense of lightness of heart, a sense of joy. If they're joined together, linked arm in arm, suggests a sense of camaraderie, togetherness, that they are together and they face this threat as one. Linked arm in arm also has a sense of them as a division being very close. They stayed together as a team, even in death. That's quite a strong image, I believe. In boots that outlasted them. This is ironic. Their boots lived longer, they're still whole, and the young soldiers who were wasted by the battle have lived longer than the soldiers. It's highlighting the fact that they died too early. And their jaws, those that have them, dropped open. This is again ambiguous, so I'm doing red and green. The subordinate clause here, those that have them, suggests not all of the bodies are intact, that some of them don't have jaws, showing that, once again, the violence of the battle. However, the fact that their jaws have dropped open could suggest they are singing, they are talking or trying to get their words heard, which is once again reinforced by the final stanza. So now we've got as if the notes they had sung. This links to the dancing, the idea of going towards their death with honour and bravery and a sense of joy because they were together. They had sung, have only now with this unearthing slipped from their absent tongues. Again, I think the final line is ambiguous. It could be negative because they've been forgotten and now they have a chance to say their story, to sing their song. The fact that they have been found gives a sense that they will not be forgotten, they will be honoured, which I think is the poet's intent with this poem. He wants to honour them, he wants for them to be remembered and to highlight the injustice of history where not everybody is remembered. The idea of singing links to the fact that the Welsh division would often sing to raise their spirits, and this division were well known for their love of songs and singing. So the idea that even in death they are together and singing is almost a positive image that they are not alone, that they have not been changed by the horrors they've seen, that they are still a team. Absent tongues, obviously they are skeletal remains, they do not have a tongue, but it's quite haunting because the adjective absent suggests the men's voices were lost in battle. They were silenced by their generals, told to walk, not run, and they were silenced by the machine guns. They've been silenced over the years because they've been underground forgotten. But now, because of the unearthing, because of the farmers who have found them, they have a chance to tell their story. That's my red and green annotation with explanation. To find my annotations, you can click on our folder, or you can rewind, pause, and write your own notes. I hope that makes sense. Speak to you later.